Howdy, Jacob here. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I'm not doing a formal review of all of my holdings, but I did want to give a general idea as it's been requested to go over um, kind of to go over my holdings, but I feel like with the goal of this channel, it's not just to tell you what companies are good buys, what are not, since it's everyone's situation is absolutely different. And my review of a company, we can both review the exact same quarterly reports, 10K, um, and come out with different perspective ideas of where the company is going to go. And so that's not really what this video is about, but I did want to go over some of the companies that I hold on the top end and then my thoughts around how I am investing. And so we can see here my top five holdings for my individual stock fund are Southwest, D Local, Medifast, Alibaba, and Alta Beauty. Not necessarily in that order, but I mean, these are just companies that, in my perspective, either right now or when I bought them, I will say I haven't bought an individual company in this portfolio in this year. And so, I mean, I don't really buy companies often. I really only buy them when I think that I truly feel confident over a 5 to 10, 15-year horizon that it's going to outperform the market. Otherwise, I do just throw in a lot of money into the market. And so I throw into a lot of money into large cap, maybe a VOO, mid cap, small cap, international. Um, that's the majority of where I put my money. And then I have been running a magic formula investing style portfolio since 2020. And so 4 years in, I can definitely say I'm lagging both the S&P 500 and the Russell 2000 actually. But no surprise, S&P 500 has well outperformed the small cap companies, and my market cap limit is 150 million. And so it's majority sub-billion dollar companies. Majority of the companies in the magic formula that I'm investing in are small cap. And so they're going to perform probably pretty close to the Russell, and it shows it's performed pretty close to it. If I were to gauge percentages, again, I don't want to get into too specifics here, but I would say that 10 to 20% of my portfolio is going to be individual companies, 10 to 20% magic formula, and then the remaining 60% is going to be in just a mixture of funds. Uh, like I said, a VOO for the S&P 500-esque, some mid cap, a lot of small caps, some international. And so I guess to keep percentages going, 20% individual companies, 20% individual companies through the magic formula, and then maybe 30% large cap, 15% small cap, and then 7.5 roughly between mid and international. Um, and so again, I know if you want to maximize your returns, um, investing in the market is, that's going to give you average. And so, um, you might ask why only 20% in individual companies, and that's just because it's a conversation I've had with my wife, and then also just knowing myself, I'm a pretty risk averse person. I mean, as you could suspect from my occupation of being an actuary, I do like to avoid risk as much as possible. And so the companies that I do buy, I personally think that there is little risk and actually less risk than buying the market. Um, but I do enjoy still buying the market, which gives me access to crazy companies that, from a valuation perspective, I think are crazy expensive, but have outperformed exactly what I've done and what I would have calculated in the past. I mean, if you think about an Amazon valuation, I didn't do valuations 10 years ago or something, or 20 years ago for sure, but I presume I would have thought that at all points of time it would have been expensive. But if you buy into the market, you're buying into companies that may seem expensive for someone who may not know how to calculate that type of business, which obviously I don't. I'm definitely more of a value guy. If you're not spewing out free cash flow, buying back shares, I just don't really fully get how I'm getting money back as an investor. Um, it's a lot more tough to analyze, but that's kind of my logic for why I still buy into the market and why I will. I'm not going to stop. I think the only reason I would stop is if there were a 20-year period where my individual stock portfolio gain outperformed the market by 5% a year or something like that. It would have to be very excessive. And again, that's because the risk you take by buying individual companies. I do a lot of research into all the companies that I purchase. Obviously, I go read the quarterly reports, 10K, how far back. I probably go about 2 to 5 years, depending on how big the company is. And so the research for every company is going to be 20 hours or more. And so it's kind of difficult to know that much about every company, especially with my age being as young as I am, not even 30 yet. And so I just have a lot of time to learn more about every single company. But unless I'm entirely confident, I will just be sticking out for mutual funds or index funds and just matching the market with the majority of my money, as I believe in large cap American companies, mid cap, small cap, emerging markets. I think they're all going to perform great. And so didn't really want to get into specifics. Like I said, I don't think that's kind of where I'm going with this channel. I mean, I'm getting like 20 views, so doesn't really matter, but I'm really just doing this also to introduce myself to new companies as well. But I do think for the average person, even I think I'm above average. I think a lot of people, unless you are extraordinarily risk tolerant and willing to risk it all, um, I think it's good to have a good portion of your money in index funds and just kind of match the market. But if you are entirely confident in yourself and you want to go into portfolio analysis, then obviously it would make a lot of sense for you to buy individual companies. But again, that's just my perspective. I also just listened to, this is off track, I could end here, but I just listened to a lot of Charlie Munger chats and talks through YouTube and Warren Buffett and such, and listening to uh, just having a portfolio of a limited number of companies. And so that's also part of the reason that I own, or I only put about 20% of my worth, liquid worth, into individual companies, is because, like I said, I do a lot of research here, at least 20 hours per company, probably. But even still, there's just mistakes you can miss. And even the best people, the best investors will be wrong 40 to 50% of the time. And that's not something I'm willing to risk it for the biscuit, as whoever says that. But anyways, I hope this was an enjoyable video. Um, I know it was kind of just me chatting, but if there's anything else anyone wants to know, again, I'm not going to get into specifics, but I could definitely go into more detail. And if you want to chat about anything, I mean, let me know. I'll send you my email or something. Or send you my number and we can chat. So I hope you enjoy this video. Kind of a rant, more so just a one person chat conversation. But either way, hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.